Hello and welcome back to Yas Marina, the Grand Prix circuit that is also, rather more importantly, a kart circuit. It's a championship round for the UAE RMC, and the man who comes to mind when I mention the UAE RMC is our very own Henry Baudet. Henry, Yas Marina, special place.
It really is. The drivers love it. How often do you get to race your go-kart at exactly the same point of the circuit that your F1 heroes have been here just a few months ago? It's a fast track. It's the fastest we visit. It's a Formula One venue. What's not to like?
Indeed, and I understand you're expecting 5,000 or 6,000 Henry Baudet fans in the grandstand for you.
Well, they've opened it up especially for the Joe Bradley and Henry Baudet fan club as well, I have to say.
And there are 4 people in.
Yeah, there are four, and not one of them's my mum or dad. Hello, by the way.
Henry, enough of this tomfoolery. Go and do what you do best. Chat to the greater the good of the paddock.
I shall.
To be competitive on a Rotax Max kart and to win on a Rotax Max kart is not easy. It's very, very hard. Let's just add a bit of complication here and put like 2 ratios of gears that your driver can choose. And this is the problem that Mark Bassier, I say problem, Mark, it was your choice to move into DD2. It's DD2, of course, what I'm talking about. So your first season in DD2, and I've got to say, what I've noticed is you have come closer and closer to the guys at the front. You've got a smile on your face. You must be pleased with that development curve.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm very pleased with my increasing progress in the kart. Of course, going from senior to DD2, it's a bit different, bit of a different chassis a little bit of different axles. It's more hard, you know. It's not as flexible as a senior, and as well the gear changes make it more challenging.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So, what was it that you found hardest to get your head around with regards to what ratio to be in?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The gears are definitely the hardest part because it's not, where you see the revs, and by the time you see the revs, it's too late to switch, you know.
Right.
So you have to do it by sound and feel, you know. So you're hearing me, and then you have to switch, and then switch again. So it just becomes so tiring to the wrist as well.
Yeah, it was Tony Hogg that sort of really played with my head. He said, use the gearbox to slow down as well. I mean, you know, that it's a completely different mindset and it's a completely different technique, I would think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The gearbox definitely slows you down, especially when the revs drop. So you need to be very attentive, you know, when you're switching gears, where you're switching gears. And yeah, it's just overall quite complicated.
Yes, far too complicated for me. We're at Yas Marina, Mark, and it's a very, very fast track. Are you still having to change into that first gear at all?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have to change multiple times, and I think this is one of the hardest tracks to change gears because you'd rather be in first than second because second is still quite slow, but in general, it's just very hard to, you know, get your hands on it, you know.
I would think as well, but you know, I've raced myself, and there was never at any time did you think, I got that perfect. You never think like I do.
No, you never think you're perfect. You always see improvement. You know, my teammate, in the data, you see he's quicker here. Even though you're overall quicker, you always have room for improvement.
The other thing I wanted to talk about, which is a bit different to a Rotax Max, these little things here. Nick, if you want to come in and have a look, I'm talking about the brakes on the front. Now, usually with a Rotax Max kart, it brakes on the rear axle. You can use the brake to get the kart to rotate. However, you're stabilizing and balancing the braking efficiency across the length of the kart. So how can you get that element of rotation into that solid rear axle?
Well, basically the front brakes make it a lot more complicated because if you press the brake too hard, you have something called micro locks.
Right.
So the front brakes start jittering a little bit. So it starts going a little bit back and forth. And when that starts happening, you just can't move the car. It's like driving on sand or ice.
Right.
You're just, you don't have control over the car. So you have to be very patient with the brakes and really slowly rotate the car, almost like braking into the corner slowly.
Yeah, so it's more, what you've described there is more like driving a racing car.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. It's, I think it's almost like a mini car, you know, because with the gears, everything's just complex. You have to know what you're doing as well. The brake bias, you need to switch it or put more front, put more rear. So in just general, it's just really complicated to get.
Halfway through the season, Mark, are you enjoying the challenge of the DD2?
No, absolutely. It's a magnificent car to drive. Much funner than a senior. No, no, absolutely. And with my progress and maturity and experience in the Rotax Max Challenge, it just keeps on growing. And so I become better and better and better.
Experience-wise, and the way that these guys race in the DD2s, you're kind of in a cauldron, aren't you? You've thrown yourself in there. What are you expecting out of this weekend at round 5?
Well, of course, to win, of course. But I think a good top 3 would be a nice placement for me. I would like to have the top 3 so I can be competitive in the championship and as well get a podium to take home.
Well, I would have expected no other answer to what you've just given me. Wish you all the very best of luck, Mark. Mark Bassier.
This weekend, the UAE Rotax Challenge welcomes Rotax royalty in the form of Wesley Orr. Wesley, your name, your reputation and Rotax goes back a long, long way in the grand finals for South Africa. You are now the owner of War Motorsports. You've got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 young drivers from South Africa here with you. You've joined the Telios team for this week. Why come to the UAE to start with?
Well, I think it's proven that the level here is so good at the moment. As you can see, the investment that's going into karting here right now is massive. And, I've got a great relationship with Luigi, who runs Telios. So it's a no-brainer for us to partner with Telios when we're doing some stuff in the UAE. I think that, it's just the grid has proved to be really good. And I've also seen in the World Finals that the drivers from here are super strong. So we need to bring our drivers up the game, and this is the place to come.
Now, of course, I really started at the wrong place. I should start talking about you. Talk a little bit about your career and your career in Rotax. What Rotax has done for you and your driving over the years?
Well, Rotax was the contribution to my success in every way. Double European champion, double world champion. It put me on the map in motorsport, and now it's given me a leverage to build something for Africa that's never been seen before. Take our young drivers from Africa and put them on the world map. I think that, that's all Rotax based. They've just got an engine that flies and works, and you can start it 100 times and it still starts. So the product is so easy for us to use worldwide and compete on an equal platform. So I think that's really what it is. Just it's given me a platform to work off. Everyone in the world knows me in Rotax, and strength and trust. Trust is the word. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and of course there are some hidden gems of circuits in South Africa. I'm still waiting for my invite to Idube Raceway, but there are some great tracks in Namibia, in Kenya, and places like that the world hasn't yet really discovered, although, we're getting there. Talk a little bit about some of your drivers that you've got here. So who are your 4 drivers? Because we're going to speak to one of them in a moment. But why have you chosen them to come here?
So, it's obviously school program, the ones that could come here. Yep. School is always a big factor. And, just trying to launch who can come. Radi, our youngest driver, is, I think, a superstar from Africa that we need to concentrate on. Mm-hmm. We've got Lulama, who's a new driver for the Senior Max. We're putting him in because the field is so big here. Yep. They can get exposed to numbers. And then we have one that hasn't got a visa yet, so he's coming still. But, he'll be a little bit tomorrow, then I'll introduce him to you. Yep. But Africa is so untapped in terms of talent, and the circuits are so no one knows about them. I've been traveling through Africa at the moment, putting War Motorsports down in everyone. Yeah. Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and what's important is that there's hidden gems, man. And I know the sport so well, and I understand the basics of the sport. Yeah. I understand what it is to begin right from the beginning all the way to the top. So my focus and War Motorsports focus is 100% Africa focus. Take the talent, let's polish the diamonds and put them on the world map. So that's what we do.
Yeah, well, speaking of talent, Wesley, you mentioned one potential young South African superstar, Roddy Harris. Roddy, come in, first of all. Welcome. Come and stand in between here and turn you out. There's the camera. We can tell that we're an untapped diamond here because we're not quite sure where the camera is. But first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, how old you are, where you're from, and what class you're racing in here.
So I'm Roddy Harris. I'm 9 years old, and I race Micromax category.
So you're racing here in Micromax. You would have been too young to remember Wesley when he was in his prime as a driver. Have you had a chance to look back at YouTube and listen to Ken Walker talk about Wesley Orr at the grand finals?
No.
No. There we are then. So, first of all, what do you make of Yas Marina? Is this the first Formula One circuit you've ever been to?
Yes, this is.
I mean, what was it like when you looked at the grandstands and you looked at the circuits?
I was shocked.
Yeah? No, well, but now, down to business. You've got a Micromax race to win here. How has practice been going for you so far?
I don't think it's been going too bad. I've been in the top 10, in all my sessions so far, so I think it's good.
Okay, and we'll go back, Wesley. I mean, you've got a driver here that's on his. Is this your first time out of South Africa?
No,
Or first time in the UAE?
second time in UAE.
Second time. He's obviously wants to do well straight away. How do you temper expectations?
Well, when it comes to Roddy, I really believe he's got the ability and the talent. I mean, he's gone out the first session, he top 5, and this session he was P1 for a long time. The challenge is the racecraft, so it's not the speed. The only thing we've come here to hone the racecraft, to learn to pass, because what's surprisingly really good in the UAE is the amount they attack. I think it stems from the British driving. So the Brits have come over here and they've got that really aggressive style. So I think the South Africans can adapt and learn. So that's what we're going to do. So in terms of pace, no issue. I think we can run with the best. Racecraft, we've got some learning to do.
Okay, got some, but you're a quick learner, Roddy, yes?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, now there's going to be 4. You've got how many drivers? You've got 1 in senior and 3 in micro. Is that right?
So we've got 3 actually. The 4th one didn't come. So it's 1 in senior, 1 in mini, and 1 in micro.
Okay, 1 in mini, 1 in micro, 1 in senior. The red and white, and of course the traditional, the sort of What would you describe this, Roddy? The War Motorsport logo. Is it a cheeky smile, or is it a watch out, I'm coming to get you?
Watch out, I'm coming to get you.
There we go. Well, there we go. There's 3 drivers in the spirit of Wesley Orr. Watch out, the South Africans are coming to get you. One of the original super teams of the UAE's XL Motorsport, and I'm with the driver that was kind of XL was set up around Jamie Day, your dad, Kevin, and Paul Hardy, of who apparently my friend Joe Bradley taught the motorsport course there. So that's everything that Paul knows. It's down to Joe Bradley. Jamie, first of all, you've now moved on to racing in GTs. You race around the world. You were the first ever UAE driver to win the Kart Masters title in the UK. Tell us a little bit about how this team has grown and the ethos behind it. 'Cause it's not just about karting, is it?
No, exactly like you said. Like, obviously, we're an original team to the UAE. Obviously, started out as Energy Dubai and then expanded to XL. But it originally started with me and my dad, like you said. My dad was actually racing back in that time, and then obviously Paul was running the team, which he still is today. So, like I said, we've grown exponentially, not only in the UAE but also in Europe as well, with the karting team there, which we have racing at the Winter Cup this weekend, and then obviously the F4 and GB3 team as well. So we haven't just got steps in karting, but also up the ladder now in Formula as well.
Well, let's have a little wander around this extremely impressive awning. First of all, you've got one of the many data stations. Ash Whiteman is here, and he's coaching several other drivers. What's the purpose of this, and what does it benefit the drivers?
Yeah, it's just an overview of the session, obviously, to look more in detail about, obviously, how the driver's driving. Gives a bit more of an insight of how the kit is performing as well, just from more of a driver's POV. And yeah, just a learning and overall, just to help the driver get better after the session.
Excellent. We'll go down the awning because you've got European-style workstations. Now, this is obviously brought in from the very start of the team, you know, the European work ethic, the European setup. How has that worked?
Yeah, like you said, just trying to be as professional as possible, bringing everything that we learned from Europe over the years back to the UAE just to level up. Like you said, just to be as organised as possible. It just helps us, not only the mechanics, but also as the engineers, to know what is going on and off of the go-karts.
Now, you are the reigning senior Rotax champions. The 372, that's a senior number. Last year, Omar Ghannoum was the UAE champion. He's now retired from karting. Rayan Kairouz, so he says, Rayan Kairouz is one of the drivers that was just waving at us. What is your job, or what is the job here that Rayan has got to do that XL help him do better than he would do anywhere else?
Honestly, just helping him perform to his best. Obviously, Rayan's got quite a bit of experience from Europe, but coming back as well just to help him learn even more. Obviously, every time he goes in the go-kart, to be performing to his best, not only from our side with the kit, but also helping him with the driving.
Now, there's how many drivers you've got here this weekend? There's about 12?
10. So 10 this weekend, so we've had a few dropping in and out throughout the championship. So we've had as high as, I think, 17 at the O Plate and then 10 this weekend. So it's very up and down, but we're always full and busy.
But there's an interesting statistic here. The last round of the UAE Championship at the Dubai Kartdrome, the XL were here, but you were at 2 other venues as well, weren't you, across 3 different disciplines. Try and tell us about that weekend. How many staff members you had, roughly, and how many countries you were in at one time?
Yeah, obviously, like you said, we were across 3 different countries. We had the European karting team out in PF, we had Dubai Kartdrome, and then we had the F4 team as well out. So I think we had 80 staff in total, 90 staff in total, and then obviously, like you said, 3 different disciplines. So Paul was quite busy managing all 3 via his laptop as well, but yeah, it's good keeping us busy.
But as the original XL driver, you remember it where it was just Paul, your dad, and you.
Yeah.
How has it been for you watching it grow, watching your dad, watching Paul invest the time, the money, the heart, the joy and the heartache in equal amounts, as well as your own career? What's that been like? And when you come back to this paddock, what are your emotions when you do see, you know, a completely full tent? You look at all the workstations, the electricity coming in, the charging of the batteries, each mechanic working in unison. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, like you said, obviously it's grown so much over the years. Obviously, I can remember it when it was just me, my dad and Paul just racing every weekend out of a pop-up, and now to see that we're racing in 3, 4 countries at a time, it's madness, to be honest, at some points. But like you said, it's dedication, and it's just hard graft over the last few years. It's not been easy, that's for sure. We've had some tough times, but the thing is we've always kept pushing and always kept trying to evolve. So it's never staying still. It's always about growing and pushing forwards.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much, Jamie. There's a phrase, from small acorns do large oak trees grow, and that is no more true than in this XL Motorsport, the original super team still leading the way. The biggest jump in karting goes from a driver going from mini to junior because of the chassis size change. Now, Paul Schutzman has jumped up from mini to junior for this round and obviously for the rest of the season. First of all, Paul, half a season in mini, now you're into junior. What's the biggest difference that you've noticed?
The competition.
The competition. But what about the size of the go-kart itself? When you go into a corner, the back is 50 mil. How much wider is it now? You've gone from a 900 to 1,050 mil chassis. So that is 150 mil wider, which means that you're not able to make the same moves as you were in mini. How have you managed to cope with that?
Just learning the kart.
Learning the kart. It's obviously it's faster, it's got more grip, and is it harder to drive?
Yeah, because it's just a lot more like understeer.
A lot more understeer. How does that mean?
Because it's so big
It's
to
so
get
big.
around the corner.
Are you finding that you're getting tireder and tireder the more you drive it?
No.
And so you're in a much bigger field of cars now, karts. So you've gone from 18 to 20 in mini. You've now got 35, I think, in juniors. New load of drivers, some of which you've never raced with before. How are they treating you on circuit, or is it just the same as it's always been?
It's the same as it's always been.
Yeah. Now, you started really well this year. You had a win in Minimax. Why the change?
Because I couldn't win the championship anymore, so why not practice now for next season?
Okay, and of course you're growing as well. Do you think you would have outgrown the Minimax by the end of this year?
Yeah.
You've got the same team with a new graphics kit. There's the Burj Khalifa on the front. How has your mechanic here and the team helped you change up?
Definitely doing data after every session and set up, making it more comfortable to drive.
This round is the start of the Abu Dhabi Sports Council Trophy. It's for the driver that scores the most points in the next rounds, all in Abu Dhabi, that doesn't finish in the top 3 in the championship. Now, you're not going to finish in the top 3 in the UAE Junior Rotax standings, but you do have that to aim for. Is that something that will keep you motivated?
No.
No? So what is the goal for the rest of this season?
To get to the podium.
Gets the podium. Okay, there we go. Paul Schutzman making the jump up from mini to junior. Bigger car, but as you can see, he's not that phased.